So yeah, an interesting end to an otherwise very, 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 very positive game and very, very positive result. Um, it wasn't nice seeing the captain, big captain Ben Jomi, be stretchered off in a neck brace. Apparently, he's walking about now, and he's been walking about the changing rooms. So fingers crossed that means he's actually okay and that he's not going to need very long for recovery. Um, but yeah, as I say, it wasn't a comfortable situation watching him be on the floor for that long. Um, yeah, but as I say, fingers crossed he's fine. Eric Peters obviously also went off, I think, with like a hamstring injury or something. Bardo came on, fine. But anyway, other than that, I that's the best first 10 minutes of football I have ever enjoyed from Burnley. Wow, 2 goals in 10 minutes. That is unheard of. That is unheard of, and I'm very happy to take it. Um, I was saying first 10 minutes. Look, you're 2-0 up now. Don't make any risks. Stop. Don't push things. Don't be complacent. If you need to defend, just defend. Don't go for goal. And they did quite the opposite for about 10 or 15 minutes, and I was like, why have you done this to me? There were a few times where Dwight McNeil just kept giving the ball away, trying to do something fancy, and it was just, I don't know, I felt like we were trying, once we'd scored those first 2 goals, I felt like the team was trying too hard to push for more goals, when all we really had to do was just keep playing how we were playing. But having said that, we scored the third goal in the second half. I think it was like the 40 something. It was 40 something minute in the second half. Matt Lowen, wow. Right off the bat, my man of the match. That man has been on fire. I was watching Sky Sports. The commentator said Dwight McNeil. I was baffled he overlooked Matt Lowen. Tell me how you think about that. What you think about that? But from my point of view, Matt Lowen was just, he was something else today. But anyway, let's talk through the goals. First off, let's start with the goals. First goal that went in, it was, what was it? Johan Berg after an Eric Peters cross. It was a fairly standard cross. It was a bit, probably could have done better, but we capitalised. Finally, we capitalised on the opponent's defensive mistakes, which is something we have struggled to do as of late, but we did it. Very pleased with that. And Johan Berg took a beautiful strike at it. Just curled it right around Vicente Gaeta. I think that's how you pronounce his name. I don't know. And he put it away. I think that's 2 goals in 2 now, if you obviously don't include Bournemouth. So, very, very impressive from Johan Berg there. Second goal, Jay Rodriguez jumped up like a salmon and just headed it home. Very good ball from Dwight McNeil, by the way. I would have assumed that the goalkeeper should have come out and tried to get that out, but luckily he didn't. Very good ball from Dwight McNeil right on J Rod's head, and he didn't have to do much. It would have been easier to have scored than to miss, and he put it away. He did what he had to do. And third goal, I could talk about this goal for hours, just because of how much I love Matt Lowen. I might be slightly biased. He made a very, very good run from, I'd say, about the halfway line, just in our half. Made a very good run, dashed through a few. I don't even know what happened, but I think it was Van Arnholt, and he just seemed to have a force field around him. Van Arnholt just fell to the ground, and that was very enjoyable to watch. He looked invincible. You could almost feel that he was going to score. Passed it to, I think it was J Rod, and J Rod flicked it over. And Matt Lowen, first time volley. Right. It was cultured. That's the sort of stuff you'd expect our Chris Woods and Ashley Barnes, Jay Rodriguez, our Matej Vidras to score. But but they just don't. Whereas Matt Lowen, he's took that chance. And he had a few chances. He took a lot of chances outside of the box, and a lot of them went far and wide. But that, beautifully taken, absolutely beautifully taken, and he deserved it. He did deserve a goal because even without that, defensively he played very well. I'll come on to him later on anyway, but defensively he played very well, and down the right hand side he was just very good with Johan Berg. Like they are proving to make a very good partnership now. it's starting to be that what I believe once Charlie Taylor's back, which I'm hoping isn't going to be too much longer now. Once Charlie Taylor's back, our attacking balance is going to be pretty much 50-50 because they're both on it. They're both on it big time. So it's very, very positive scenes in terms of attacking prowess. But anyway, 3-0, very, very good score. Let's get on to the players individually now. Nick Pope, he had a few saves to make, very, very, very simple saves, but he didn't put a foot wrong. He didn't make any worry when he was given the ball. He passed it out safely, got it out, either passed it out or cleared it out. Generally cleared it, long balled it. I can't think of a time when Nick Pope put a foot wrong today, but as I've said, I don't think it was as much emphasis on defensively and keeping the clean sheet, which, by the way, I'm very pleased with. I don't think it was quite keeping the clean sheet that was the main focus today. It was just the attacking prowess we really showed was impressive in terms of Burnley. You don't expect us to be scoring 3 goals, but we've done that twice over the space of about 5 games now. I think Aston Villa was within 5 games. But we've scored most of our goals in 2021, which is very impressive. But also on the same token, quite unimpressive. If we go over to Eric Peters, I think he had a fine game. I don't know if they'd count the assist. I'm going to count the assist because he put it in and the ball ended up getting to Jan Berg Gudmundsson, so I'll have that. He played fine. Defensively, pretty okay. As much as I want to praise how well we played, I don't think Crystal Palace were quite on it today. I don't think they quite ever showed that they had a certain cutting edge. I've been saying that a lot recently. I don't think they showed that cutting edge. So I don't think Eric really had much to do defensively. But the things he did have to do defensively was fine. He kept all the players well. It was a big. If you're to compare it to anything. You compare it. I can't remember who it was, but I can't remember the game. But it was a game where he just kept on getting skinned constantly, and it was quite hilarious. Now I'm thinking about it. But anyway, yeah, he was fine. But he did get injured, so hopefully either he'll be back or Charlie Taylor will be back, because I'm not sure I want to be starting Anthony Driscoll-Glennon in the Premier League with such a lack of sort of experience. But when I'll talk about Phil Bardsley now, actually, just to save time. But when Phil Bardsley came on, he looked semi-comfortable in the left-back position. Obviously, I'm sure he'd prefer to be on the right-hand side, but he looked comfortable on the left-hand side. He got the ball out well, touched the ball. He knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing, and he proved that he had the experience to sit in a new position and take it on, which was positive to see. So if we are to start anyone, if Eric or Charlie aren't better, I'd rather have Phil Bardsley there, or even Matt Loughton, depending on which way we want to push it. Centre backs, Ben Mee, James Tarkowski. I think I'm specifically with James Tarkowski. I think he had an excellent game, and it is probably unfair to give Matt Loughton the man of the match over James Tarkowski, but I do think he just really typified how we played today. But James Tarkowski had a very, very, very good game. He was always there. He was ever present in defence. Like Crystal Palace, I'm sure Crystal Palace fans will not be happy that James Tarkowski had such a good game, because any pass that Palace made, it somehow ended up to him. And it was very, very, very impressive. So yeah, I was very pleased with James Tarkowski's performance. Same with Ben Mee. I think he was very, very good. And he proved his worth as a captain a lot. There are a few times, I say a lot, there are a few times where he just looked to be getting there in just in a sort of an almost Liverpool press type of way, and he was on it. He was on it big time the entire game. But unfortunately, obviously, he got injured. And as I said at the start, hope he gets well soon. It's one thing losing your captain, but it's also another thing actually losing someone who's actually quite important to Burnley. And I'm sure a lot of Burnley fans, he's just one of them. He's been ever present for 8 or 9 years now. Like he's nearly been here as long as Kevin Long, and that is saying something. Speaking of which, Kevin Long, when he came on, he were fine. He didn't look to be uncomfortable in defence, which is a positive if Burnley can't play against Fulham on the 17th. That will be a big positive. Fingers crossed Burnley can still play, but you never know. But yeah, I think Kevin Long did well when he came on. I think he only had about 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Once again, didn't really put a foot wrong. He made a few clearances, did well, got his feet in the right positions. And yeah, there's nothing I can really say wrong about a lot of our players today. Mal Outwin, I've talked about him. I don't think I need to talk about him any longer. As I say, my man of the match. Just very, very impressed by him. Let's go into the midfield now. Dwight McNeil. I think he was fine. Obviously, I said the commentators gave him the man of the match on Sky Sports. I disagree personally. I don't actually think he was one of our better players. I think he was. I don't want to say one of our worst players because that would insinuate he played bad, but he certainly didn't outshine everyone else, which is what you'd usually expect. Which isn't an injustice rather, to Dwight McNeil. That's just a great compliment to the rest of the team. He put a few good balls in, passed well. He made good runs, switched the play very well. He was just doing what Dwight McNeil does, and pardon me. He was just doing what Dwight McNeil does, and if you say Dwight McNeil's doing what Dwight McNeil's done, you can't say he's had a bad game. I just think he didn't quite outshine everyone like he usually does. It's just everyone else rose to a different level today. Sorry, my throat's going very, very dry. I need a bottle of water or something. Midfield-wise, Ashley Westwood, solid. Like I'll probably say it for the rest of time, as long as Ashley Westwood stays with us and plays for us. The man is just solid. Rarely did anything wrong. Rarely does anything wrong ever. And he's just very solid. And I'm very thankful to have someone like him at Burnley, because as long as you have someone who's ever present, no matter what, there's always the chance. And Ashley Westwood really is something else for that midfield. Josh Brownell didn't get his time to play today, which I would have enjoyed seeing him. Because yeah, I want to see him back in action. I'll say it again. I think Jack Cork was fine. I think he was probably the most underwhelming player on the team today. He got himself in a few slightly dangerous positions, but luckily got out of it with a foul. But you don't want your players getting out of situations by getting fouled. You want them doing something creative or safe, because you never know with modern day referees. Some things are fouls, other things, nope. Sorry, no, you've just been stood on, but it's not a foul. However, wait, what does VAR say here? Yep, okay, yep, you've brushed his arm, it's a penalty. I'm not even going to get into that conversation. I cannot stand modern day refereeing and the rules. I want football to be like it used to be, back in my day. Right midfield, Johan Berg Gudmundsson. I've talked about him in relation to Matt Loughton. I think he was very good today. Scored a goal, obviously. And he was just he was doing what he used to do before he started getting really badly injured. And I said it the game before Bournemouth. He's really coming into his own again now. He's sort of hitting a second prime, which is really, really, really positive to see. And as I say, it's positive to see. And it's nice to be injected with that creativity once more. And finally, pardon me. Up top we have Ashley Barnes and Gio Rodriguez. They weren't quite the strike force you would have wanted them to be. Obviously, Matej. Sorry, I'm really struggling with this today. Obviously, Matej Vidra out with a hamstring injury, I believe it was. And Chris Wood obviously still out with his injury. Hopefully, he'll be back soon as well, though, just to bring a bit of attacking sort of competition back in. Yeah, I think in terms of Ashley Barnes, first half he wasn't excellent. He looked a bit ghostly. He was misplacing a lot of passes. Wasn't making the right runs. Second half he came into it a little bit more. He got the ball a few times. The one time in particular that I can remember, Ashley Barnes. Not Ashley Barnes. Dwight McNeil was running down. He passed it inwards, and Ashley Barnes just had the sort of composure, and he kept himself for a second, looked around, saw Ashley Westwood, passed it to him. Westwood just about missed it, but it was positive things like that I like to see in that second half. Otherwise, he didn't have quite a performance that you would have liked him to have had. Considering Crystal Palace's sort of lack today, just general lack overall, I think with a couple clinical strikers up top today, we could have won by more than 3. Not that I'm saying 3 goals is nothing, by the way. 3 goals is massive. That is massive for us. That takes us from the bottom of the table of the most goals of the least goals scored. Which no one wants that. No one wants that. Unless they stay up. I'd win the league with 0 goals. I'd like that. I'd like to take the Premier League trophy home without scoring a single goal. Be pretty boring though. And Gio Rodriguez, he's obviously scored his goal. General play, I wasn't particularly impressed. I don't like to say it because he is Gio Rodriguez and he's a Burnley boy. He does everything for the community. You literally can't ask for anything more of a Burnley player, other than on the pitch. Perhaps I'm wrong in saying this, but I think a lot of his decision making sometimes is quite poor. There are a few times where he could have just passed it and we might have a better chance, or even run forward and then shot. But a lot of those times he just decided, I want to score it, I want to hit it. Which isn't something you want to be seeing. From my personal point of view, you don't really want to be seeing that from a striker. Because you want someone who's going to do the best thing to get the goal rather than to force the goal. And I think that's what he was trying to do. He was trying to shoot and hope it went in, and in turn force it. In terms of the goal, though, in terms of his actual goal, he did well. I think it all really came from a very good Dwight McNeil cross, though. But, if you're not there and if you don't put your head towards the goal, it don't go in. So there you go. We've seen Chris Wood miss them before, so... you must pardon me, my eyes are starting to water now. Yeah, my voice is going really dry. I'm not set up for this. I just saw a gap in the market and thought, hey, I'll do this. And I enjoy it. I really like sort of picking apart games and seeing what other people think. So, obviously, if you are watching this, make your opinions known. That's what I want to hear. And finally, Robbie Brady, when he came on, I think he slowed the right-hand side down big time. I don't think he's a particularly bad player. I just think he's quite far off it in terms of him versus Goodmanson. Yeah, I think he was fine. He didn't really have to do much, considering at that point we were playing more defensive and we were just looking to tick the time down and just take away the win. But yeah, he didn't look like he really wanted to do anything. When he first came on, he just started sprinting, and it wasn't to do anything. He was just sprinting, and it just confused me a little bit. But as I say, I don't expect anything from players when the game plan is changed up when they come on. So yeah, I'm sure if we were to do anything attacking wise, he would have picked it up a little bit. But yeah, overall, I'm very, very pleased with today's result. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed Ben Mee and Eric Peters come back fitter and better than ever. And I believe that takes us up to 15th. Could be 16th, though. It might be 16th. And we're playing against Fulham soon. So, I don't know why I'm struggling so bad here. I feel like I'm dying. Yeah, if we can beat Fulham, what would that be? We'll be 14 points ahead of the relegation zone. We beat Fulham, we're staying up. There's no doubt in my mind. even if we lose to West Brom but beat Fulham. I can't see us going down at all this year. Second half of the campaign, we've been on it, and I think we've proved that we deserve to be staying up. And it's really positive to be seeing. Hopefully in the summer though, we can use some of that sort of Premier League money to pay back the £90 million debt we've got.